How's it going, grade 12s? So Act 1 then continues where John Proctor, the protagonist, the main character, now enters onto the stage. What is interesting to note here is if you look at this introductory paragraph of his, they say he is a sinner. A sinner not only against the moral fashion of the time, but against his own vision of decent conduct. That is interesting to note. His own conscience also bothers him about the mistake he made by having that affair, because it goes against his own moral conduct, his own vision of what decent conduct is. So he does regret what he has done, as we will now see as we continue. So then he makes this statement: the road past my house is a pilgrimage to Salem all morning. The town's mumbling witchcraft. So do you see that rumor spread like wildfire? Rumors always spread like wildfire, and now it has. Now the town's mumbling witchcraft. Then, as it continues, now we see that Abigail is not over John Proctor. As we know, she drank that charm to kill his wife so that she could be with him. Now she says, John, I am waiting for you every night. And he says, Abby, I never give you hope to wait for me. Then they have this whole discussion. He makes it clear, I want nothing to do with you at all. He calls her a child, and she's like, how do you call me child? He says, Abby, I may think of you softly from time to time, but I will cut off my hand before I'll ever reach for you again. Wipe it out of mind. We never touched, Abby. So he's making it clear he wants nothing to do with it. Then she starts attacking his wife. She's blackening my name in the village. She's telling lies about me. She's a cold, sniveling woman. You bend to her. Let her turn you like a... He's like, do you look for a whipping? Do you look for a whipping? So he's telling her, shut your mouth about my wife. He knows he messed up. He knows he made a mistake. But his conscience is bothering him, and he does feel remorse. And he has made this vow to never let it happen again, because it goes against his own vision of decent conduct. Now, the Putnams enter the scene again. They say, this is a notorious sign of witchcraft afoot, goody nurse, a prodigious sign. And then it continues more. As we have seen, Thomas Putnam's man for the Salem ministry was Bailey. The nurse clan had been in the faction that prevented Bailey taking office. So you will note that these two families really dislike each other. The nurse family is truly disliked, especially by the Putnams, because they were part of that faction. And all the land they amassed and stuff, people have this land lust, as mentioned in the introduction. So they're also jealous of all the land that was acquired by this nurse family. So you even see now the motivations are there to turn against your neighbor, to, let greed guide them. A lot of this was greed, hypocrisy, breaking down other people, and then just taking your revenge. Exactly as is stated in the introduction. Then, a wide opinion running in the parish that the devil may be among us, and I would satisfy them that they are wrong. Then later Parris says he's not coming to look for devils. A Putnam says, there be children dying in the village, mister. Then it continues, and now it also gets to, there are wheels within wheels in this village, fires within fires. A Proctor then says, take it to heart, Mr. Parris. There are many others who stay away from church these days because you hardly ever mention God anymore. So many people have stopped even attending church where Parris is preaching, because he only preaches hell and brimstone and fire and damnation. He hardly ever mentions God. What a hypocrite, right? All it is judgment, fire, damnation. Yet never mentions God, the mercy of God, the grace of God. He's only speaking about the devil. So is it any wonder that the town is then obsessed with the devil? It's all they're hearing. It's just devil this, devil that, the devil made me do this. Sounds like a horror movie. And yet, many people stay away from the church as well, because they don't want to hear about the devil. They want to hear about God. Then we see his greed, how he says, where's my wood? My contract provides to be supplied. And they say, but you get 6 pence. And we see his greed like, no, you'll hardly find someone as qualified as me. I deserve more pay than this. And you see how he's just greedy as well. So he's selfish, he's greedy, he's hypocritical. Then it continues. Proctor saying, I may speak my heart, I think. And Parris saying, what are we, Quakers? We are not Quakers here yet, Mr. Proctor, and you may tell that to your followers. So then he insinuates that Proctor is part of this faction that is against him. And Proctor is like, you mean there's a faction? I ought to seek it out. I ought to join it, to be against you publicly. So Proctor's not even ashamed to say he's against him publicly, to oppose him as well in everything he does. It continues, then Giles Corey comes and says, it suggests to the mind what the trouble be among us all these years. Think on it. Wherefore is everybody suing everybody else? Think on it now. It's a deep thing and dark as a pit. I have been 6 times in court this year. That is very important. Look at how these people treat each other. He alone has been in court 6 times this year. He's also one of the people who took the people to court. So they are suing each other. They are bad-mouthing each other. The love for each other is not here. They are not following that biblical guideline of loving one another. They are not showing the love. Rather, there's the greed, there's hatred, there's backbiting. And rather, they're breaking this commandment of thou shalt not bear false witness against one another. Here you see, there the trouble starts. Especially, these people already have it in for each other. There's all these different motivations for why, but they already have their knives out for each other. They already have it in for each other. So just taking that witchcraft into consideration now and using it against others was very easy for this society, because you could already see the fractures. You could already see they're falling apart. There's no unity within the society. Then it continues, and then Mr. Hale comes onto the scene. Now, Reverend Hale is an interesting person because he's this expert on witchcraft and demonology. So if you turn the page there, on mine it's page 28. There he speaks of these things like succubi. So a succubi is an evil spirit or a demon, usually in a female form. But then it continues to almost in the middle of the page where it says, a political policy is equated with moral right and opposition to it with diabolical malevolence. Once such an equation is effectively made, society becomes a conjurer of plots and counterplots, and the main role of government changes from that of the arbiter to that of the scourge of God. So in other words, since they're in this theocracy, if you do anything that goes against these standards set by the government, you are in contravention of the government, then the government will act on behalf of God now to punish you. They then become the scourge of God. And the results of this process are no different now for what they ever were, except sometimes the degree of cruelty inflicted, and not always even in that department. Normally the actions and deeds of a man were all that society felt comfortable in judging. The secret intent of an action was left to the ministers, priests and rabbis to deal with. When diabolism rises, however, actions are the least important manifest of the true nature of a man. The devil, as Reverend Hale said, is a wily one, and until an hour before he fell, even God thought him beautiful in heaven. Then he continues, I have no doubt that people were communing with and even worshipping the devil in Salem, and if the whole truth could be known in this case, as it is in others, we should discover a regular and conventionalized propitiation of the dark spirit. One certain evidence of this is the confession of the tuba, the slave of Reverend Parris, and another is the behavior of the children who were known to have indulged in sorceries with her. So here we see something interesting about the author and his beliefs as well, where he says he has no doubt they were actually people worshipping the devil. But in this play, definitely the only person you could really say is involved in witchcraft is then the tuba. But she obviously lured the children in to this as well. She obviously told them that she could do this, and the children got involved in it. So that part might be very true, that they did in fact traffic with spirits and had all this, but the closest one is definitely the tuba. But one thing to caution you against, the tuba coming from Barbados, it's most likely voodoo, but please do not ever in your test say that it is voodoo. The reason for this is nowhere in this play is the word voodoo ever used. So you cannot say that it's voodoo. Even though it might be historically, please never use the word voodoo in your test. It is witchcraft. That is what this is about. The witchcraft and witch hunts. And there is then this likely possibility that they were really involved in devil worship.